Hi, this is Fred, FR5ED. The 5 is silent. Here to do a beer review. Right now we're going to look at Cocoa Beach Brewing Company from Cocoa Beach, Florida, Space Coast. This is their Pale Ale. That's all it's called. No fancy name, just Cocoa Beach Brewing Company Pale Ale. Actually, I had my first visit to their location over in Cocoa Beach last week. It was a week ago tomorrow, as a matter of fact. It was Friday. I was traveling around the state of Florida, coming up the East Coast, looked them up with my beer app called Find Craft Beer, and I had never heard of them before, and they were only 110 miles from my door. So obviously I stopped in. It was a pleasant surprise. It was such a charming old house. It's one of the oldest houses in Cocoa Beach, in that area on the Space Coast. And they've converted it into a micro brewery, maybe a nano brewery, and are putting out some phenomenal beers. The 4 that I tasted in the tap room were all wonderful. There was an oatmeal stout, a honey porter, a pale ale, and their 888 IPA, which I have already reviewed. This is a 22-ounce bomber that I picked up there that day that I'm going to review right now. Yes, I've had it in the tap room, and I liked it enough that I bought a bomber of it. So I already like it, at least on tap. But let's give it let's start over and give it a review here out of the bottle. And here's how it pours. Very pale, I can see it already. Alright. Didn't get much of a head from that, even though I thought I poured it kind of aggressively. It's about a half finger, very loose, large, bubbly head. Not sure what that's about. So, I get malts right off the bat. Definitely some nice complex malts. I guess I'm so used to IPAs where the hops are so ever present that the malts are kind of an afterthought or an after smell. This is very bready, biscuity, pleasant, very pleasant malt smell. I'm getting grapefruit, citrus as far as the hops. Not much melon, not much pineapple or anything. It's more citrusy. Anyway, it's a very, I hate to use the word balanced as if there's some definite point on the line that makes it balanced. I'm so used to IPAs that this leans to the malty side of things. But it's a good smell. Let's taste it. Again, I'm not good at defining what I'm tasting, but I do remember that flavor that made me order a pint of it while I was there and bring this bottle home. It's I hate to use the word candy. It's not sweet. I mean, there's a tiny touch of sweetness there. I wish I could put my finger on what that is. It's very good. It's not bitter enough to be an IPA. Have no idea what the IBUs are. It didn't say on the website, and I don't recall seeing it on the bottle. It's not, hyper bitter, like IPAs are. I'm still getting plenty of bitterness, from the hops, but it's much more subdued than a full IPA. But the hops are holding their own there. But there is more malt presence. So whereas an IPA you'd have malt and hops, this is kind of malt and hop. They're kind of even. So in that sense, you could call it really balanced. So but the flavor in there, as I said, I don't want to call it a candy flavor, but there's something that made me use that word. It's just I remember it being a fun taste when I first tasted it. So the malts that are used, it's 2-row malts. The hops that are used are Nugget, Pearl, and Cascade. This was rated a 76 on Beer Advocate, and that's only 10 reviews. On Rate Beer, it was a 71 out of 26 reviews. So the reviews don't reflect, a very high regard, but I find it very pleasant. I'm an IPA fan. I haven't had many just pure pale ales, and yet I find this quite tasty. I wonder if people who are expecting a regular pale ale and getting more hops than they bargained for are knocking it down. I don't know. I just know that being a hop head, this had enough appeal for me that I bought a bomber of it, and I'm still enjoying this. I like it quite a bit. And just in closing, Chris McCall, I believe his name is, who's the founder, president, owner, head brewer of Cocoa Beach Brewing Company, apparently, allegedly, and this is according to Tracy, who's there, and very knowledgeable herself, I'll have to say, says that Chris brews not to please the majority like some brewers do. He is brewing what he likes, and I love that. I love the fact that he's brewing things that match his palate, and everything I've tasted there, all four so far, I really like. And this is one of them. It may be a pale ale. It's not an IPA, and I really like it. I would get this again on a 5-star scale. I would give this, hang on, 3.5. And the reason I say 3.5 is that's kind of my threshold for would I get it again? Does it go on my list to not pass up? And yes, I'm an IPA nut. That's pretty much all I've been having for the last several months. This is not an IPA by name, but it is hoppy enough. Excuse me. That's not, you know the rest. It's not bad manners, it's good beer. It's hoppy enough that it's got my attention, and it's flavorful enough with kind of a unique flavor. I would get it, so 3.5 may sound low. It's not. I like it. I would get it again. Next time I go there, soon, I'll probably get another bottle of it. By the way, they do have it at ABC. If you have a local ABC, they do carry it at the ones here in Central Florida, and also at Total Wine. So it's not like it's super hard to get. It's out there. So I recommend it. This is Fred, FR5ED, over and out.